This commenter asks, what if my dog is above threshold when outside at all and won't take treats? This is actually a really common experience for the types of dogs that I work with. I work with dogs who are dysregulated, meaning their baseline stress levels are higher than ideal, and they often struggle with self-regulation and the ability to bounce back from stress events. And this can feel like sort of a dead-end place to be. Like, if my dog is afraid of the outside, how do I even begin to train this? They won't even take food outside, so how do I work with food in that environment? And one of the helpful things about working with a behavior consultant is that we are really good at breaking down the criteria more finely than your average pet parent is going to even think possible. We have a webinar series, our Behavior Bites webinar trio, and each of those webinars, that's about 90 minutes long, dives into a different pillar of behavior therapy: holistic stress reduction, the ability to self-regulate, and resilience to stress. And when we're talking about a dog who is over threshold immediately upon being outside and can't take food outside, we are at that first pillar where we need to look at holistic stress reduction. So first, I need to look around and see what stressors are impacting my dog. A common pitfall is that we notice the behaviors that are most aversive to us, and may not even flag certain experiences or stimuli as stressors that we need to address and manage for our dog. If we are not seeing a behavioral barrier. For example, I'll often have folks say that their dog does fine at the vet, and then they'll say, my dog hides under a chair and shakes and tries to crawl into my lap, but we don't have any problem doing what we need to do. And that's a really, really normal, typical way for folks to think about things when they are approaching behavior concerns, is to really focus on the behavior and if the behavior is a problem or a barrier. But really, we need to be looking at, from the dog's experience, I think the dog would, in that example, very much disagree that the vet is not a main stressor. And because of the way stress stacks up, and because of the way dysregulated dogs struggle to come back down, and because their baseline stress level is already higher than ideal, which means that they have a lower window of tolerance for stress, all of those different stress events matter. And so we want to take a holistic look at our dog's stress map, at their experience of stress throughout their life, and put management around all of those different things that are causing distress, making problems worse, strengthening negative associations, reinforcing unwanted behaviors. As part of that, we're also going to be looking at the dog's enrichment and saying, is my dog's enrichment having the impact that we want it to have? Are there perhaps some aspects of the dog's enrichment that are actually serving as a trigger themselves? For example, fetch, and the dog leaves the situation, the fetch game, more aroused than when they started. Or perhaps they are exhausted, which is different than feeling relaxed or satiated. Or perhaps my dog is not getting enough sleep. That's a component of enrichment that we don't often think of. Or their quality of sleep is poor. Perhaps my dog has pain in their body or GI issues. Those need to be addressed. And so we look holistically. Does my dog have safe places? Do they have safe people? These are going to be foundational before we can teach them outside is okay. They need to have a safe place to return to. They need to have a safe person that they can go to for comfort and safety and support, and who will get them out of there if the situation is too much. Often when we're talking about dysregulated dogs, we're also talking about helping them medically, because this is a medical issue, and an anxiety disorder is a medical issue. A trauma disorder is a medical issue. And so often in combination with behavior therapy, we're using maintenance medications and or event medications to help the dog's nervous system come out of that constant state of fight or flight and into that rest and digest. And then we start looking at those other pillars. So if my dog is afraid of the outside, I'm going to start inside, building the skills to self-regulate. I'm going to start inside, building resilience to stress, so that when my dog encounters stress outside, they have skills to cope with it. And when my dog has a setback, when they experience something stressful that I didn't plan, they can bounce back faster because we've built up resilience. And then I might break down what is stressful about the outside. Sure, it's the outside globally, but what does that represent for them? What associations have they made with outside that are so scary? Maybe it's a lot of things. And maybe let's say it's everything. It's people, it's dogs, it's cars, it's sudden noises, it's sudden environmental contrast, it's novelty. I can also break those things down and start working to lessen the intensity of the stress response that they elicit directly inside. So I might inside be doing some noise desensitization. I might start working on counter conditioning dogs and cars and people from my window or from my backyard. I will absolutely be working on a flight cue, teaching my dog how to get out of stressful situations from inside the house. I'll be working on increasing agency, increasing communication, showing my dog that I can see the subtler, more quiet signs of their distress and that I can help get them out of there, even if they feel trapped because they're on a leash or whatever the case may be. I'm ensuring that throughout the day, and this goes back to the enrichment piece, that my dog has outlets for stress, that they are engaging in sniffing, licking, chewing activities throughout the day, so that they have a way to release some of that built up stress. And so it can seem like a lot, and it is a lot, but we can break it down into smaller pieces that aren't going to be overwhelming for the dog, which is going to interfere with the efficacy of our work, but also so that it's not overwhelming for us. And this is why it can be really helpful to work with a behavior consultant, to have someone guide you through this. And so this is the work that I do with my private clients. And then, as I mentioned, we also have this new webinar series where we do a deeper dive into each one of those pillars. And so that is also an option for folks who may not be ready to commit fully to behavior therapy, but who may be doing it themselves and want to improve their dog's well-being, reduce stress, make their work more efficient, more impactful, more effective, more ethical. That webinar series can be a great place to start. And thank you again to our commenter for asking such a great question. Best of luck.